Welcome back to the DJ Sessions, where we feature the best DJs and producers from around the world. I'm your host, Darren, and right now I'm sitting in the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington, with none other than the him coming all the way in from Amsterdam. Going to be one of my favorite cities that I'll be visiting here later this year, but we'll talk more about that interview. Hey, Jay, thank you so much for coming on the DJ Sessions, virtual sessions today.
Thank you for having me, man. It's so fun. I'm excited about this.
Absolutely. Well, to dive right into things, and I mentioned it, you were from Amsterdam, one of the most important countries for EDM worldwide. I mean, you got ADE over there. I mean, we're going to be talking about that, and then I'm almost fanboying just thinking about it right now. It's going to be happening this year. But is there any other country that really stands out in high regard for you and your type of music in the electronic world that you would say that's the place I'd want to go to or I'd want to live?
Oh man, that's a tough question. Well, I'm very partial to Amsterdam. I gotta say, I've been obviously to a lot of places around the world, and I really love that Amsterdam is like, I always call it like a city village. Like it's not as big as New York or any really big city or London or whatever, but it has everything. But it just has one of everything, like we have one arena, we have one big music hall, but the big bands come by and we can see everything. But still, you can bike pretty much anywhere in like 20 minutes to half an hour. So I'm very partial to Amsterdam. Obviously, like electronic music has lots of roots in different places around the world, like from Detroit to Berlin to London. Like, yeah, every hub has its own influence on the music. But you're right. There's a lot of electronic music coming from this small place.
And you mentioned big cities like that, and I mentioned obviously we're from Seattle. Last year, for a kind of not necessarily a bucket list, but something I had never done my whole life, is I was born and raised in Seattle, but I went to New York for my first time as an adult. And growing up here in Seattle, like you said, everything's here. We're kind of big, but when I went to Central Park in New York, and I don't know, have you ever been to Central Park in New York?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, yeah. And I saw the reader board as you're walking in the about park, and was doing some research, and it was 2.5 miles long and a half mile wide. That's literally the length of from one end of Seattle, the downtown district, to the other end of the district, and about right. I live in the heart of downtown, about Pike Place Market to Fifth Avenue, if you know the area. And I'm like, you could fit all of that in Central Park. That's how much New York blew me away when I was there, just how big the city was. I think we got off on 25th and walked up to Times Square from 25th, and just because we were over in Brooklyn. But you're right. A small condensed area can have a lot of culture in it. You don't need a big city culture to have that. And, you started in Amsterdam making mixes. And how did you experience the transition from a national celebrity, national standpoint, or city standpoint, to an international touring DJ?
Well, it's funny, because I think honestly, the hymn sooner had like more shows and recognition, I think, in the States than we did in Holland in the beginning. So that's kind of the other way around. I think funny enough, and I don't know if it's totally true and maybe hard to really understand from an outside perspective, but in Amsterdam, when I used to go to parties, I used to go to techno parties. And definitely in Amsterdam, like the main electronic music that's being played is not really EDM. It's more like techno, tech house, underground kind of stuff. You have some of the bigger DJs playing, but funny enough, like when I play in America, like a lot of the clubs are playing like EDM and like big party music. Whereas in Amsterdam, it's not as much of that, So that's a bit of a contrast. Like I sometimes had to go to the States to do what I do. And then in Amsterdam, it just felt really different. It's so funny. Have you been to IDE?
No, but that's almost into my couple of my questions. We'll be talking about that in just a few moments. No, it's all good. I love it when there's what I call the mind reader, or people don't know. People sometimes think, that I send questions in advance and it's a canned interview, and it's like, nope. But I like the direction they're going, because we're going to be talking about that. And, speaking of traveling to countries and going out of town for the type of music did you ever, or have you ever visited a faraway country where you were surprised people actually knew your music? And where would that be?
I've oh my god, I've definitely been to places where I was super surprised that people knew my music, and I've had like videos from friends who were in like Zanzibar in a bar, and then somebody's playing a song of the hymn, and like that is so weird, man. Like that is just always the craziest thing, or just being. I mean, being anywhere really, and people singing along to your song is just the weirdest thing ever, and the most amazing thing ever. So yeah, man, that definitely happens, and it's one of the cool things with this thing I do.
I'm not as big as some of the other artists out there, but it was last year. Had an interesting experience where I was in Las Vegas, and I was at like one of the only nightclubs that was open there. And there's a big line outside. And I walk up to the bouncer and I'm like, hey, you know, what do I get to do? Skirt this line. I'm like, yeah, I'll give you $50, whatever. Cause it was kind of around the club. And I don't mind paying to get into a nightclub. I don't mind paying the door fee. I never try to flex. I'm just like, I still like, wait, if I don't have to wait in line, I don't want to wait in line. I want to get to the bar. I want to go party. I want to go have fun and get to the dance floor. Let me in. Anyways, I'm up there managing to like get backstage somehow. I can't remember who was playing. Of course, it's Vegas. So do you remember much of what's going on? But I do remember I went up to the bar at one point and I'm standing there and I turned my back. This guy and this whole party of people were hanging out. And it was probably like, you know, 4 or 5 guys, about 8 or 9 girls. Could tell there was some kind of party. They were all friends. I turn my back like this. I'm looking and all of a sudden I feel this tap on my shoulder. And the guy's like, hey, the DJ sessions. I know that show. I watched that show. What's your affiliation? You work for them? And I go, yeah, I'm the executive producer. And he's like, what? No, wait. He turns to his friends and he goes, this guy's the executive producer of the DJ sessions. No way. This is all cool. Shots for everyone.
No way. That's so fucking cool. Man.
I was doing, I mean, so cool. I'm kind of a hop, skip, and a jump away from home. You know, I'm still in my own country, but just having somebody recognize out of the blue and you're like a stranger in a crowd, you know, I could see it kind of being like the same thing where you're somewhere and all of a sudden a song comes on, it's yours and you just sit there kind of observing and people are like rocking out to it. And you're like, yeah, that's my track. You know, that's what I do.
It's funny because I've noticed this in myself and I totally feel what you're saying. 100% agree. Like I'm at like, I've noticed myself that like my mom or someone I dearly love will tell me, oh, I really like your last song. And I'm like, yeah. But then when this total stranger who you don't know, you have no idea who they are, they say that they love your song. It's like, oh, this is special. I don't know if it's because you think like the people you love and that love you will like what you're doing. But for some reason, when it's a stranger, it's even more special. I'll tell you this one time I was in the studio working late at night and I ordered some food. And like my studio is in this complex with all sorts of creatives and stuff. And like there's student housing close by. And I'm like going outside and I'm walking, it's dark. And there's this little bench and there's 2 like young adults, I don't know, maybe kids, I don't really remember, that were hanging there. And like, you know, Amsterdam is not really a rough place, but just kids outside. I wouldn't mind their business and I just leave them and they're listening to music. And what comes on next on their phone is freaking Feels Like Home. I'm like, what the hell is the chance that would happen, man? And it's so funny. Like, yeah, it's pleasures, man. So cool.
You know, it's fun now that we're talking about this subject. I ordered some barbecue from one of my favorite barbecue places. If you're ever in Seattle, I'll have to take you to Jack's Barbecue. I'll give them a shout out.
You have to.
I just went there for lunch the other day to talk some business, and you know, it's like one of the baddest ass barbecue places in town. But a few weeks ago, I placed a phone order in, and all that I gave him was my first name. So I drove down there to pick up the order. Dude comes out from behind the counter. All I gave him was my first name. Right? No information. Comes out with the bag, sets it on the counter, goes, dude, Darren, you were the DJ sessions, aren't you? No, I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, I'm a DJ. I'd like to get on your show sometime. And I'm going, how did you know it was me? Like it could have been any Darren in the city. And he goes, no, when I saw your name, I came out and I wanted to talk with you, man. We had a little conversation. It was like, okay, that was kind of weird.
That's so cool, man. Yeah,
I know. It's just cool. Weird stuff. You never know when that kind of stuff's gonna pop up and stuff. And speaking of tracks right now, you know, When It Falls on You, it was just came out, and that was with, is it Mila Falls?
Yeah, Mila Falls. Yeah.
Mila Falls, the awesome track. What was that experience like collaborating with her on that?
Oh, it was really fun actually. Yeah, man. Shit. Um, she was in Amsterdam, so I think we tried to record it on Zoom and online and everything, and we were like, she's a freaking great singer, and like we were 99.9% there. But I was like, if you're in Amsterdam for ADE, let's try to get a day in where we just record some stuff. I think there were like some minor things that we wanted to change, and I really like to be in the room with the artist and like talk about like how we want to do it, and just be able to get everything that we want. Um, and she came to the studio together with her manager slash co-writer, and we did like a couple of extra take for Falls on You. It was like done in freaking 20 minutes, I think. We wrote two other songs that day, which were both really cool. And then we went out for lunch, and like she ate like kind of the Dutch fries and like an oliebol. I don't know if you're here around like winter time. We have this like deep fried, it's not a donut, it's like a ball with like raisins in it, and it's like sweet and good, and it's the typical Dutch thing. She had one of those, and we had a really fun day, man. And yeah, wrote some great music and recorded the song, and yeah, that was really really fun.
Yeah, it's out there. It's awesome. People check it out. Check it out. Awesome
Dude.
stuff. It's always fun when you get to spend that non-stage time or non-transportation time or that non-hotel after party time with a guest. We sometimes get to do that when people are in town, and when they're done with an interview, they come by the studio. We're like, hey, would you like to go out to lunch? So I just go kick it, and they're like, yeah, sure. I got a few hours before my flight. You just sit down. You gotta get to know them in a personal level where they aren't on stage. I guess they aren't, and it's not all business. You're just talking about and shooting the shit, and that's kind of a lot of fun. And you got 2 more songs coming out of it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, it was a great day, and it's like you say, like you get to know somebody on a personal level, and that's really fun. Absolutely.
And have you been doing a lot of your work in collaborations via online, via Zoom, via obviously transferring? That makes it a lot easier for the last 15 years, let's say 10 years. Technology's been there where artists can collaborate back and forth on projects, being halfway around the world. Maybe 20, man. The internet's been out a little bit longer than that, but, and it's made things like this possible. Before in the past, I used to wait till guests would come to Seattle and do the on-site interviews or go to the conferences. I was at Winter Music Conference in 2009, and that kind of opened up my eyes to like, oh my gosh, here's a festival, here's Ultra, here's artists, and kind of being a press media, person there on site, run around getting interviews, which will going to lead right into ADE coming up. We're very excited to get back on the ground. While we love the ability that technology is here to get us to collaborate and get together, there is nothing, and you hear this over and over again, that there's nothing like being in the physical presence of an artist when they're doing their craft and in a live performance. So we're really excited not only for people to get back out there and doing their shows, but also for us to get back out on the ground and be in person. And I've mentioned it a few times. We talked about it. ADE is on our radar in our sites. The planning is being done, but we're also looking at going backwards. ADE is a little bit later in the year. I have a conversation tomorrow to talk about getting over to Sonar. And have you ever done Sonar in Barcelona?
No, I haven't, man. But Barcelona is definitely one of my favorite places in the world. So
yeah, we're working with somebody there and a few partners there to put something together for Sonar. So we're looking at Ultra, EDC, Sonar, and ADE this year for our on the ground reporting stuff.
Yeah, man, I hope you make it.
Yeah, gonna be a while. No, we will be making it. It's not 79% chance everything's going good, and I'll take those odds in Vegas anytime. So as long as I got my new passport, I need some new stamps. I went to Mexico last year for a little vacay for a couple days, but I want to hit Europe.
You should, man. It's fun. Travel around a little bit. Like there's so small and so much to see.
Well, that's the thing is it's kind of like, what do we do when we get there? Like the Barcelona, do we go take a train ride? My friend wants to, if she goes with me, might want to go to Paris. I've never been to Paris. You know, if I'm over there, I might just stay an extra week and do a whole 2 week, 3 week thing and then come back for ADE and kind of do the same thing. But ADE is, I've heard a lot of people talk so much good about how that conference is run and the connections, and it's time for us to get out there. We were talking a little bit before the interview. You know, this is going to be a big PR year for us, and you know, getting out and hitting the street, pounding the pavement. It's kind of at the heart of what we do, and I think there's going to be thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. Okay, we'll just sum it up. How many people come to ADE? You probably have the numbers better than I. 100,000?
I think more than 100,000. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's like 200,000, 300,000, maybe even, but a lot. And
it's a few days too. I mean, it's conferences and meetups and networking and business.
It's a whole week by now, man. Like
the
shows are usually from like Wednesday till Saturday technically, but then there's some stuff going on Sunday, and there's also some stuff going on Tuesday already. So like it's
October 19th to Sunday, October 23rd.
Yep. Just put it in and just be there.
We've already put on our submission for press clearance, but they're not taking submissions till June. That's the word on the street. We should have it. We should get in. We'll be there, and we're definitely going to get you on the show when we're there.
That'd be fun, man.
Absolutely, yeah. We got a pretty awesome plan for our footprint when we get there. You know, so festivals, fun stuff. You know, talking about dance events and all that fun stuff. Do you think, you know, people should look at DJs like they're rock stars, or would it be more fun if DJs were just slightly a little bit more anonymous and just part of the bigger event?
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't think you should look at anybody like a rock star, because we're all just kind of people at the end of the day. But I mean, the trend these days with digital music and streaming platforms is already more towards anonymity. And you could definitely also say that lots of the big festivals, you know, it doesn't always necessarily completely matter who's headlining, because they'll sell out anyhow. But at the end of the day, I do think it's super important that, you know, you see the artists that you like and also discover some new artists. That to me is what like a good festival is for, you know, like seeing stuff that you're like, oh, I've always wanted to see them, but I never got the chance to yet. And then like seeing some new stuff that afterwards you're like, oh, I never listened to this, and now I'm a total fan, you know, like, yeah, I'm like that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And being in these bigger festivals and events, who's the most inspiring person that you've ever met backstage? And tell us why that person was an inspiration to you.
Oh my God. Those questions are difficult, man. Who's the most inspiring person? I mean, I've met lots of people, and I'm inspired by lots of different artists around. Like one person that I find really interesting in what they've done and how they've turned things around would maybe be a guy like Don Diablo, like a Dutch DJ, for example, who really like was in a certain lane and then changed everything and completely took off in his new way and like took over the world basically. I've always found that very inspiring. But I mean, yeah, it's hard to say, man. It's hard to say. Like, I couldn't really give a really great example. I think I get inspired in so many ways, and I just am a person that takes it all in, and then I go in the studio and I don't even know where it comes from anymore. So I find those kind of questions hard to answer.
No, but you did drop Don Diablo, one of our artists, one of our DJs, resident DJs, who goes by Dabble, Jeffrey, shout out, is just like Don Diablo fanboy, loves him. And I know he's waiting for that one time we get that interview. And I'm like, Jeffrey, what's the question you want me to ask him for you? I'll give you a shout out. But Don, he did some really cool stuff as well. You know, streaming live. Some of those videos, things he was doing online, a lot of artists, you know, jumping on the live streaming platform, you know, 2 years ago. It was very interesting. It was very awesome to watch that after doing a DJ show for 10 years at the time. and trying to knock on everyone's door and tell them, hey, I got this live streaming show, DJ's online, DJ. And everyone would be like, why would I want to watch a DJ online? Or what's Twitch? They didn't even know what it was. And all of a sudden, everyone was DJing from the top to the new kid was DJing online, watch my show. And then everyone knew what Twitch was. I'm like, oh, y'all just made my job a lot easier. Thank you. You know, because I wouldn't have to explain it so much because everyone understood watching that online. But yeah, I mean, totally understand it. It would be kind of, there's been a lot of inspiration, a lot of people from your past that have done that. You know, we like to sometimes throw a little curveball in there. Of course, I'm not going to try to get you to cry on camera, nothing like that. But no, totally understandable, man. It's I've heard that sometimes like my inspiration is every day I get to wake up and do this for a living. Yeah. And everyone is an inspiration because I'm living the dream. You know, or somebody asked me out of 2,200 episodes, what's your favorite episode? Right?
It's hard, right?
Like,
yeah.
What? Every so single one of them? Because it was fun doing every single one. What's the most memorable? Oh man, I mean, it's just, that's hard. That's a hard question. But did you ever get into the live streaming thing? Were you ever doing any live streaming? Have you looked at that as a medium that would complement what the hymn already is doing?
I mean, I had like just like podcasts on SoundCloud before with music mixes. Not really, man. To be honest, like doing, you know this, but DJ sets, making a DJ set takes so much time, and it's such like a, you know, a curation of making something special. And for me, like the live aspect of that is super important. And that's really what I want to save that for right now. I'm not against it. Like I would definitely do it if the right reason came along. But otherwise, I feel like my craft is really in making music in the studio and then being on stage, entertaining people. I think that would be what I do right now, but you never know what happens in the future, man. Shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's where we're at right now, is that has become a medium that people have seen they can use. And hopefully it's broke that barrier down of somebody saying, oh, I'm only physical. But they might look and go, wait a second, I can go physical and I can do something online, where if you're based, say, out of Amsterdam or I'm out of Seattle, we're streaming something live and I could now find a whole new fan base in Japan or Russia or Australia, where people may not be able to travel and see me physically. And we might be able to do this as pay-per-view. And wow, I was charging $2 or $5 to watch a pay-per-view show, or they're doing a Patreon where they're subscribing for $2 or $5 a month, you know, and I'm releasing specific content only to them. And wow, that's 10,000 people a month are signed into that, you know, and I'm making an extra $250,000 to $500,000 a year doing that kind of revenue generation. You know, if it's a business thing, excuse me, had a little bit of a cough coming up or something. I don't know. No, none of that crap over here. No. Just talking a lot. I talk a lot. I don't have my water with me right now. You would have thought I would have taken a hit or something. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, opening up to new technologies, you know, or what new technologies are presenting are for people to be creative and distribute their content and get out there, kind of leads me into my next line of questioning. Have you looked at or played around or done anything? Because I know you're a gamer. I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. But anything with the VR or AR world?
I mean, my brother is like he works at a game design company, and he's always been into gaming. I used to game a lot when I was a bit younger, but then he once made me try like the Oculus, and when I tried that, I was like, I need to get one of those. So I do have that. I played a lot of that. It's called Super Hot with the red guys.
I think. Oh, no, I know which one you're talking about. It's the gun shooter one.
Yes,
Gunslinger. Is it Gunslingers?
Super Hot. So,
Super Hot.
Yeah, you're like paused, and then when you move, they move.
Yeah.
I played a lot of that and like some Half-Life. But to be honest, man, like I just combining music making and life together, I don't have a lot of time for gaming. So I always fantasize that when I'm like 70 or 80, by then you can probably like be in the Matrix and plug one of those things in and then I'm definitely gonna go back to gaming, man. Shit.
There you go. Well, I'm a big fan of Oculus. I got one last year. Loved it so much. 2 days later, went out and bought my mom and dad one and said, "You got to try this out." Played a lot of Beat Saber. Loved the song packs in there. I just currently got into synth writers though, which you can add your own music a lot easier than you can Beat Saber. The two different platforms that similar motion aesthetics, moving to music, kind of really cool stuff. Good workout, by the way. Yeah. But we're looking at we're in development right now of building our first version of our VR nightclub. And so we'll have a full complex. I mean, it's a little bit more complicated than this sounds, but it's not like building the website. You ain't in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. This is the world of VR, and there's so many different places you can launch at and put your world into, and different avenues and paths you can go down. We're already, even though we have version 1 beta in place, we have our build ready to go. I'm already talking to developers about version 3, which is some newer stuff that's down the line that nobody has in the world. And it's, we're super excited for this merging of the two, because a little insight, little hint is we'll actually be able to take your physical persona, your physical, but not a scan of your body, and it's not your avatar. You're not moving an avatar around, your actual physical person, and put you on a stage. I can go in and take a real world nightclub. Yeah. Go in and have that nightclub and then place you on that stage in virtual reality as you really up on the decks playing. And somebody could walk up literally and look you in the eye like this. And like, oh, his eyes are that color. Or look down at the knobs and be like, oh my gosh, I'm watching him looking and doing everything, or playing the keyboards, whatever the musician's doing. And we can plop that in anywhere we want to any music venue around the world and have a virtual reality experience to it.
That's so cool. So I'm wondering, like, I don't know the answer to this at all, but like, would you rather be, maybe it's not an or and it's an and thing, but would you rather be like in a virtual environment where you could stand next to the artist and like exactly see what they're doing and know what's happening? Or would you rather be in a crowd full of sweaty people and like raving? What are we going to be doing?
I'll tell you, if you're asking me that question, it'd come down to, okay, can I, with my work, with my obligations, with what I have going on, if it came down to, I know that artist is playing in Amsterdam, but I'm not going to be able to see that show live. I'm not going to be able to go to that show live. I love that artist so much. I will pay $15 to go into a virtual environment and take part in that show. I actually just watched a virtual show. Of course, it was just 2D with IAMX. One of the guys, he was with Sneaker Pimps back in the day. Still is, I think. Still think they're actually making some stuff. But just watched him do something as an online virtual show the other night. And, watching the fans in that room, because he's planning a West Coast tour here coming up. But, touring around the world, he's not able to go all these different places. Yeah. So how do you still reach your fan and do a live performance that's a one-time, they can only see it? And there was donation bars. People could donate $5, $10. I saw people donating $50, donate $150 to the tip jar. And those are your fans that are out there. And this guy, he'll post and there'll be like 4,000 people like his post. So if you look at the socials on the back end, what kind of reach does that person have online? And can they still be performing shows and staying in touch with their audience base, even though they're not doing a physical thing? So like I said, I would gladly shell out $15 or $10 to go see that artist, especially if you can't get your visa. You can't come over to the States and you're like, sorry, I'm not doing it. All my US tours are done because my visa is going to take me 1.5 years to get approved or whatever, whenever it starts to get approved, And even if they do come, what's to say I won't be out on vacation in Hawaii or wherever. And maybe even if I am on vacation in Hawaii, I can still pop in my Oculus and catch that show, and that's where we're going to start seeing with Web 3.0, web, the NFTs, blockchain, all the stuff getting wrapped in that, I think it's going to be part of these new artists coming up. I actually just posted something on Facebook about this the other day, and it was kind of a jab of people that are on Facebook and solely rely just on Facebook for their outreach. And they're not developing their other socials. primarily Twitter, primarily Instagram, primarily TikTok. They're not following the trends. I said, this is the reason why a 15-year-old kid is blowing up, and they're doing this as second nature, and you're sitting here twiddling your thumbs, missing your opportunity. Yeah. You know, you're in all the gigs you play in a smaller event space. You're wondering why you're not getting your shot and you're not out there, where you got to be bookable. You got to be marketable. You know, if you're wondering why I'm just as good, if somebody's out there talking shit, say I'm just as good as that person, I should be getting my shot. But what have they been doing and you haven't been doing? Yeah. You know, and that could be the next realm, as that these kids start building an Oculus following. You know, they start building an online presence, because like in Seattle, I'm sure you've seen this before, there's only so many nightclubs in a town. And those nightclubs, if they only get, you know, have a Friday or Saturday night audience, and you only got from 10 o'clock till 2 a.m. and from 12 to 2 is the headliner, you got 2 1-hour slots. Yeah. So, and if there's 500 DJs in your town, probably 1,000 here in Seattle, and then they all rate, and they're all inside the crews and the nepotism and all that, your chances of getting on stage and playing over and over and over again to build a name for yourself. I mean, how often would you have to do that? Once a week, once a month, you know, who you're playing. So I think this virtual reality environment is going to give people the opportunity, just like Twitch did, to network with other people and build online communities like that. If you've heard anything with Twitch, they do what's called the raid chain shows, where they'll have like 20 DJs, and DJ 1 starts out, and then whenever whoever's viewing their channel, they raid the next channel, and they send the viewers to the next channel and the viewers to the next channel. And it's just a raid train that keeps going on and on and on. Yeah. And then everyone collectively, if there's 20 artists, they're promoting that 20-hour show to all their socials, saying, watch us. Yeah. That's so cool. So yeah, I think, like I said, I think in the beginning, you're never going to be able to replace that physical in presence, feeling the bass hitting your chest, you know, that kind of environment. Case in point, we do silent disco events or silent concerts now, if you're familiar with those. And we hear a lot of people, even though that's still a physical in-world event, some of the people say, I like to feel the bass. I like to feel the boom, boom, boom. We've even thought of bringing in subwoofers for our silent discos events. So there's no high or mids, but it's just that deep bass. But we actually have a device called a Wooger. You ever hear of those? No, what's that? You play video games, right? Well, you used to. I'll talk to you about that. But you know what a sub pack is? Yeah. So a sub pack, you know, has the haptic speakers in it. They're basically magnets that vibrate with sound. A Wooger made a device called a strap, and I call it like the Iron Man. You wear it. You can wear it right here. You can wear it on your side, and you can plug our headsets into it, and it'll go with the bass. Oh, that's cool. So it gives you that feeling of bass. Yeah, it gives you the feeling of the bass. And it takes you got to acquire it, but once you put it on, you wear it for 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. You take it off, you're like, I want it back. you know? Really? Yeah, it's awesome. Wooger. Might be over in your neck of the woods, but I've been talking a lot. We got to get back to talking about you. You know, VR, AR, all that fun stuff. I'm talking about gaming. And you did something not too long ago. It was for Giving Tuesday for the Call of Duty Warzone event. Yeah, man. Facebook gaming. What is you're playing with a lot of other DJs and pro gamers for charity? Yeah, that was so much fun. Oh my God. One thing I wanted to ask, I'm not a Call of Duty. I like first person shooters. I'm a little bit more of the board role playing, real time strategy, like Age of Empires kind of civilization kind of games. But what are the tips for not dying like a fool? Oh, bro, you shouldn't be asking me. No, man. I mean, I used to play first-person shooters when I was like in college and stuff. You know, I used to play it a lot. But then I got into making music, and I just didn't really have time for it anymore. But then I got asked to partake in this Call of Duty Warzone charity thing, and the great thing is that we were playing. What's it called again? Where you're all surviving a battle royale with, but like I'm playing with 2 pro players, so we're a team of 3, and we're just playing on online servers. But I mean, I had practiced a little bit, so I knew a little bit what to do. But they just were making fun of me. But at a certain point, I thought I was rescuing the day. We were like
in this little stairwell and going up on the top of a roof. And this guy says to me, Jay, open the door and go outside. And I'm, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to fucking shoot them all. I'm going to start shooting the guy. And I think I killed somebody. And then we were a team of 3, and the girl that was on our team had died, so she was spectating, and she just started laughing because she realized that he used me as human shield. You know, he just used me to get out there, like get all the bullets, and then he would know where everybody was. So yeah, man, that's my experience with Call of Duty. But it was so much fun, man. I so enjoyed that, and I learned a lot that day. It was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked into like Fortnite and Apex Legends, and I mean, being like you said, we both have our careers. Being sucked into that, I mean, I could see myself just playing it and playing it and playing it and playing it, and I have a hard time putting on my Oculus because I'm going to jump in there and I know I'm in there for 3 hours.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like I want to try to make the best of it. That's hence you can take one of the things you love, turn it into a passion. I have no problem because I'll be in my VR nightclub chilling, doing interviews and doing stuff in there. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of working, but I'm kind of playing at the same time, you know? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's awesome. And the charity, it was a fun event. You had a good time doing that?
Yeah, it was so much fun, man. I was honored to partake in it. And that was really fun for the pros to actually play with me and like help me out and like not die like a total loser. But I was a really fun night. Yeah, I gotta say.
Use them as a human shield. Get out there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but it felt good. Like I thought I was owning everybody. I thought I was doing a great thing. So
yeah, that's gonna be fun. So obviously doing some charitable events is one of the ways you reach out to people and give back to the community. What other measures do you take to actively promote yourself, your releases, and your career? And is it solid? Is it important to have a solid PR person, being a DJ, being an artist?
I mean, I think it really depends on where you are in your career and what you're doing. And at the end of the day, like I know for myself, I could always be spending more time on that and be more on socials. And, you know, I try, but I'm not a super Instagram guy. And I do it a little bit because I know it's important. I really like to be in touch with people directly like this or like chatting with somebody. But honestly, like doing the whole social thing all day just really bores me. I'd much rather spend time making music and hopefully connect with people through that. And I think if that's more your thing or more where you're at in your career, you should do that. But in the past, you know, there's also been PR people working on the hymn and lots of help with that. So at different times, you use different strategies, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I used to use a company that I shall not name because I moved on to a much better company. Now I'll give them a plug here. You might want to check it out. I can't give enough. I tell everybody about it. I tell my residents about it. I tell everyone that I try that says, how do I get my social media management under control? How do I take control back? And there's a company that just started up not too long ago called Hello Woofy, WOOFY, like a dog, woof, woof. And I don't know, did I say wolf, wolf? I my accent, I'll throw an L in there. It's a wolf, wolf instead of woof, woof. But Hello Woofy, and tell you, night and day game changer. Allows you to do so much, allows you to post to multiple accounts. Wow. You know, allows you to obviously schedule posts, put them out there. You know, it can be a huge time saver, especially, you know, if you take a virtual assistant and you say, hey, virtual assistant, go create my social media posts for all my shows. Or, you know, I have all these releases and this is the timeline they're coming out on, and they can program that all in and they'll automatically generate them for you. And it can help also generate other content, other engaging content, tons of cool stuff that are very inexpensively priced as well. I think right now, again, they're not a sponsor of ours, but I do talk with the owner from time to time. But I think you can get it right now for $49 a year. You buy in for a lifetime. It's $4 a month. And I'll tell you, if you spent 2 hours a month just setting stuff up and walked away, $4 a month for that, plus your time of setting up. Pretty easy stuff. I checked in. If you compare it against the competitors, Hello Woofy is where our smart money is going towards. And they just built funny enough, they just built they got an AR version of their app coming out where you can literally, you can take your phone And then like I'd be like sitting here with you. I could take the phone, and then it'll have an AR version laid out of all my social posts as I look around, and I can move them around and schedule them and do all this stuff in AR. With the dude, it's some sick shit, dude. It's some sick shit. That's what I'm saying. Next level stuff. But yeah, going back to some next level stuff, some big buzzwords right now in the industry, in the world right now, NFTs. And have you put any thought towards NFTs or looked into them at all?
Not too much, to be honest. I know a little bit about it. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I really ask myself, like, what can I give to people that like my music and want to be in touch with me? So I don't know if that's the place where I should do it. Like, do you think I should be creating NFTs? What should I be creating?
So funny enough, I'm actually talking about this with my one of my developers, and what would the DJ sessions have to offer? And I sat back and I said, you know what we have? We have 2,200 episodes. If anything, those are pieces of artwork that the DJ sessions has produced, these videos. And wouldn't it be cool if we could NFT the videos and then put them up on our website in a marketplace and said you could own the NFT or an NFT copy of this episode? And there's all different types of permissions you can put on the back. That's about as far as my brain goes when it comes to this stuff. But then I wanted to maybe take it one step further. I thought, okay, well, that's great for us, but could we take like our interview right now? Could I make an NFT of it and then say, hey, Jay, thanks for coming on the show. Here's an NFT copy of the interview you did with me, and kind of gift that back. And then that can be used for a multitude of things, however they want to use it. Like you could say, okay, great. I got this NFT copy of my interview with the DJ sessions. I'm going to put it online I'm just making up an arbitrary number. I can put it online for $10. And one of your fans comes along and says, I'll buy that for $10. I'm a fan of yours. I own the copy of that show. And then maybe they put it out on market and somebody says, well, I'm a fan too. I'll buy it from you for $20, And then because I gave it to you, I get a percentage of that. You get a percentage of it. And as that floats around, and this whole interview could pass through your fan base, as that NFT goes. That's my basic understanding of it. My basic understanding. I think that could be kind of cool to go back and NFT all those shows and then gift them to all the artists.
It's
here you go.
It's got something, man. Like, I think it's, as with all of these technologies in their beginning phase, there's definitely a really great use case for it that will come along. Right now I'm just focusing on making music though, and like that's
funny enough. Check this out in regards to NFTs, and I predicted this with my friends, and it's probably already out there on the internet. I just haven't found the story. I've been talking with my friend about virtual reality. I mentioned doing the virtual reality nightclub. In that nightclub, we could curate the nightclub with an NFT gallery and swap that out every month. And that could be anything from songs, like this is the MP3 of the song, or a MP3 piece of artwork, or I'm sorry, a NFT piece of artwork as well. You could curate this kind of museum that would keep people coming back over and over again. I just kind of gave the public one of my ideas I'm working on, but I'm not the only one out there. I mean, the NFT art galleries exist. I'm not trying to say I coined the idea, nothing like that, nothing crazy like that. But dang it, where was I going with this? I had a really good point. Shoot, I just drew a blank.
So you were going to do NFTs in your nightclub?
Yeah, but there was something else I was going to talk about before that. Darn it, I completely forgot about it. Oh no, Twitter. I just saw this last night on Twitter. Twitter will give you a new profile icon if you upload an NFT picture to your Twitter profile, as your Twitter profile picture. So what that means is, and I was talking with my friends about this a few weeks ago, I said, what if Facebook, what if Instagram, say McDonald's, if you go and want to use a logo for McDonald's and put it on Facebook, and it's not an NFT, you got permission to use this photo because it doesn't have an NFT attached to it, McDonald's or Facebook come back and say, take that picture down. They don't have the rights to use that picture. So it goes to a full NFT based kind of picture sharing kind of world where basically every picture that you take and share, it automatically NFTs it for you because that's your photo that you're using to make sure that it's protected by blockchain. So if the only way somebody could steal your photo is if they screenshot it and then wanted to put it up somewhere and use it, but they wouldn't be able to put it to the socials because it doesn't have the NFT blockchain on it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be very useful.
So I thought that was kind of something cool. And seeing that happen on Twitter the other day, where it's like, oh, upload your NFT picture to your profile and we'll verify it. And then you get a little special icon or marker that says this is an NFT photo. Cool. I thought that was some cool shit. Like, okay,
yeah, that's interesting.
Cool. So, you could see this happen with videos. Like somebody could go want to republish this video. And if they don't have the rights to upload it to a site because it's not NFT'd, they're like, sorry, can't upload this. You don't have the rights to do this. And that could help a lot of independent artists from having their music being, oh, I'm not going to pay 99 cents. I went over and downloaded it from here, and I guess they say the criminal mind is always ahead of the people chasing the criminals. But we'll figure that out. I thought that was kind of interesting, but things are changing. Question for you, kind of a little off topic, switching gears here a little bit. If Hollywood were to make a movie about your life, who would you pick as the main actor?
Oh my fucking God. Do you ever have hard questions? I don't know, man. I'm so bad at these names. I usually watch movies and then I have to ask my fiance, who's that? Isn't that guy from there? Who would play me? I really like Rainn Wilson. I'm a big Office fan, so why wouldn't he play me? I'm a big geeky too. Yeah,
nice. Play me. Are you MCU geeky?
What's MCU geeky?
Marvel Comic Universe?
No, not really, man. No. Are you?
I can be. I can fanboy a little bit. I was just recently reading over something where, how they've gotten into the whole alternate timeline, metaverse theory with all that stuff. No,
but I believe you right away.
Well, just alternate dimensions, basically, is what they're getting into. And it's rumored that they might have Tom Cruise play Iron Man in an alternate universe instead of Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, wow.
And, I mean, we've all been watching Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr.'s whole course all the way up in the, first series up to the Avengers Endgame. And you're kind of just like, really? Tom Cruise? Well, yes, I could see it happen. I mean, but, it's going to be interesting. Cool. I don't think Tom Cruise and Robert Downey Jr. say, hey, I picked Tom Cruise to play my life story, or vice versa. Tom Cruise is like, I picked Robert Downey Jr. to do my stuff,
Yeah, but if this is an alternate universe, anything could happen, right?
Yeah, anything can happen, right? It could be anyone and look like anyone. And, so just interesting, somebody, that's cool on the Office character. Right. Office. Now, wait. Yeah. Which Office? Because there's two versions of the Office. There's
man, Office US for sure.
Office US. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And got a couple more questions before we go. Are you really a fan of KFC, or are you just a fan of cake?
I definitely I'd say it's one of my guilty pleasures, but I do enjoy some hot wings every now and then. Yes, it's very true. And I'm also a fan of cake. I gotta say, the cake that looked like the KFC was about as good as the real deal. So yeah, man, shit.
Now, do you all have the Impossible Nuggets over there?
No, how are they?
I don't know. I eat meat. I'm sorry. Yeah. I probably would try them, but I guess they might have just came out in the States or whatnot, but they got the Impossible Burger. They got the Impossible Chicken Nuggets now.
I've had Impossible Burgers for sure, but I haven't had Impossible Nuggets yet.
I've heard they can be a little salty, a little bit. I don't know. Haven't tried one yet.
Nice. If I have them, I'll try for sure.
Yeah, the first time I ever had tofu, I think, was in like 1997. My buddy was all on this tofu kick, and he says, "Oh, you buy this packet, you get the tofu, you mix the packet in." You fry it all up and it just tastes like fried egg, like scrambled eggs. I tried. I was like, yeah, it tastes like scrambled eggs. Cool. Then let's go have some eggs.
You weren't convinced.
Yeah. I mean, I'll eat tofu, but I mean, if I'm at an all you can eat bar and I got lamb and shrimp and beef and octopus and quail eggs, I love hot pot, by the way. And tofu's an option down the road. I'll probably just I'll eat the vegetables before I touch the tofu. And I will. I'll grab. Give me my tong ho. Give me my baby bok choy. Give me my bamboo shoots. Give me my asparagus. Like I said, you know what? I think I'm going to Hot Pot for lunch today.
Oh, I love that place. I got to be honest though. Like, I also don't think tofu is one of the best options. But like, we have tempeh, which is also made from soybeans. I don't know. Like, it's kind of fermented beans, which is really tasty, and some other, like, there's really great soy alternatives to other meat things. But I'm also a meat lover, man. I love barbecue and I love everything, but we try to balance it out a little bit.
Well, when you get to Seattle, it's either going to be Jack's Barbecue, depending on how long you're here. We'll take you to one. We'll take you to Jack's Barbecue, or we'll take you to the Hot Pot place, my favorite hot pot place. All you can eat, awesome there. Have a great time with you. Is there anything else you want to let our DJ Sessions fans know about before we let you get going?
I mean, check out my music. I've got a real cool collab coming up with two other Dutch guys, Dub Vision. It's coming out on Stamped soon. I've got more stuff on my own label after that. Daily Deep. Go check out Instagram/The Hymn and just Google The Hymn. Spotify, you can find me everywhere. Yeah, man, I appreciate talking to you. It's really fun.
Absolutely. And we will definitely be staying in contact with you. Our goal is definitely to touch base with every DJ, every producer that we talk to once every 3 months, because there's always something new. There's always something going on. So we'll definitely be talking with you over the course of the next future.
We'll see you in Amsterdam, right?
Next year. Yeah, and then definitely on the ground in Amsterdam. I mean, what we're looking to do there is kind of we got to establish our footprint. We're looking at doing a live streaming DJ sets, like 8 hours a day with the DJ sessions going, collaborating with somebody there, and then obviously doing interviews with everyone that's going to be there. It's going to be a lot of work, a lot of fun. I am so super excited because I hear so much about it. And I've asked that question before in the past: Winter Music Conference or Ultra Music Festival or ADE, which one do you go to? And the jury is kind of in on ADE is the one that you go kick-ass, especially when you want to get that international connection, because you just stateside. For me, it's a 5-hour plane ride to Florida. It's easy for me to get to Ultra, but getting all the way over to Amsterdam and hotels and booking and flights and travel, never done that before, and then there's foreign language. If I don't speak the language, I mean, I'm sure people speak English there.
We speak English over here.
You speak English.
Yeah. If you need some tips, I'll give you some tips for food. You can ask me.
Don't you send me to the damn red light district or go to buy drugs.
No. I wouldn't do that.
Just tell everyone this is what you want and say it like this, Darren. Okay. Next thing I know, I'm like, where the hell am I?
Yep. You'll wake up in some weird place. No.
That'd be awesome. Weird. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much, Jay, for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
DJ Sessions, you're welcome, man. Thank you. And DJ Sessions fans, if you don't know, go check out The Hymn online. He just dropped the socials. You can rewind this episode, go back, find him out, but just type in The Hymn. Comes up all over the place, online, on whatever search browser you want to use. And on that note, the closing, this is Darren, and that's Jay from The Hymn. I always point wrong because I never know which way these are going to be. I got to put an arrow on my computer. It says they're over this way, this side of the camera. This is Darren. I'm Darren. This is Jay from The Hymn. Don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Find us on Twitter, hashtag us Instagram, The DJ Sessions, Facebook, all the social out there, even TikTok now, The DJ Sessions. And you know what happens on The DJ Sessions? The music never stops.